following is a paid advertisement by Ronald Lump.
Here's 2 more reasons to vote for Ronald Lump come Election Day 2016.
Catfish here. I'm a vote for Mr. Ronald Lump because he promises to drop all prostitution charges against truckers, get them back on the road. That's just what old Catfish needs to get on his own 2 feet again. He also promises to end the great Cuban corn dog embargo of 1952. I hear all these young'uns talking about, what's his name, Colonel Sanders, gonna give everything away for free. Now who's gonna pay for that? Not Catfish, vote Lump.
Woo! It's here to Everett Hornbuckle down here in Daisyloo, Mississippi, and I just want to say I'm excited about Ronald Lump's plan to make hamburger help for 25 cents a box. That way me and my family can have a whole banquet. Vote Lump.
The following was a paid advertisement by the Ronald Lump Foundation.
Welcome back again to the Good Old Gamers Podcast. I'm Lyle McClendon. I'm here with the inevitably bitchy Brandon Gentry.
Go fuck yourself, everyone.
We appreciate that every week.
Yeah, I know.
It is February 20th, 2016, episode number 46.
That's right.
Quickly approaching 50.
Yeah, we are.
Getting there.
It ain't gonna be long before our first year anniversary.
We're going to have a party.
Yeah.
I do believe. Some sort of video game, alcohol menagerie.
Yes. All the menagerie.
We're coming back at you this evening. We were going to have a guest with us, Mr. Steve Steverson, but he had some unforeseen family emergencies. So
thoughts and whatever's out to you, Steve.
Indeed.
Sorry, man.
Hope everything gets better. We're not going to try to kick it off on a down note, though.
Yep.
So we're going to give you some hopeful stuff in the form of a news segment. I hear Ronald Lump's making hamburger helper 25 cents a box.
I heard about that. I'm voting for that guy. I love some hamburger helper.
Me too. Every form of hamburger helper is enjoyable.
I think the first bit of news we need to talk about involves us.
It does.
Good old gamers.
We actually have a major announcement to make for once. We, as in Brandon and I, are conducting our very first panel.
Yep, at the
next month.
The Huntsville Comic and Pop Culture Expo. March 19th, we're going to be the opening panel, so, no pressure, guys. 10:15 to 10:45 a.m., so come on out. We got to keep it PG, so...
nerve pills are recommended.
So if you want me to tell you to go fuck yourself, just wait till after it's over, pull me to the side, I'll tell you to go fuck yourself. I'll sign any autographs you need me to, because, that's what we do.
Yeah.
We're superstars.
We hand out so many autographs. There's actually trading cards of us in the works right now.
Yeah. Yesterday I got asked to autograph my own autograph, so, it's pretty intense.
I did, too. The lady at the bank really wanted my signature. It's exciting, but it's kind of scary in the same sense. Cause
it's a good place for us to cut our teeth at.
Hone our skills a little bit.
So come on out there. It's only going to be $10 to get in the door. $5 if you cosplay. So.
There's all day events. So it goes to like 5 or 6 o'clock.
Yep. Be comics, cosplayers, artists, vendors, all kinds of stuff. So come on out there. Food trucks.
The I Heart Bacon food truck's going to be there.
Oh. God damn it.
I think that's the name of it. It's a bacon themed food truck.
Yeah.
Bacon.
Indeed.
Nintendo has reopened their store in Rockefeller Center, I guess.
Nice.
Plaza?
Rockefeller, whatever.
Yeah, in New York. It's under a different name though. I've been scouring, trying to find what they've named it. I think it used to be called Nintendo World or World of Nintendo.
Right. Now it's probably the Miiverse.
I swear to God, if I look this up and this is what this is, I'm throwing something.
It's going to be like the new Nintendo World, because you know how they are with names.
I think it's called, Nintendo NY is the name of it.
Okay, so they went simple. Good.
Yeah, that's cool. It's got a new name and a new look. It looks really badass. We might have to go there eventually.
Yeah.
If we ever make
might
our way
have to take
up
out a reverse mortgage to buy what I need in there, but
it looks like a museum of Nintendo.
Huh. That'd be cool just to visit, even without dropping cash.
Mm-hmm. Somebody eventually will own that place.
Yep.
Ronda Rousey wants to play Samus in a Metroid movie.
Yay.
No. If anybody, if you had to pick an A-lister Hollywood chick, Scarlett Johansson.
I could see that.
But she's already playing Ghost in the Shell. So.
Oh, is she?
Yeah. They're doing a live-action Ghost in the Shell.
I've seen Ghost in the Shell. I know what that entails.
See, that's kind of what I was wondering. I'm just like, yeah.
If you, buddy.
Yeah. Little
I've never
precursor to getting steamy.
I've never went to see a movie because an actor or actress was going to be in it, but, I might make an exception for that one. I'll have to look up the IMDb first.
What's this film rated R for?
Where's that fuck that. There's a thing called Google Images. So. Yeah.
For free. You got to pay no money to see that shit.
I saw that the creators of Disaster Report, Grandzilla, they are making a survival action adventure game called City Shrouded in Shadow. And you're basically going to be surviving kaiju battles. Their trailer involved you surviving a battle between two Ultramen, and the end of the trailer had a silhouette of Godzilla. So we can only assume there's going to be a Godzilla attack that you got to survive.
You think maybe it'll be all like just Japanese kaiju?
I think so.
That premise just sounds amazing.
Yeah,
to me, like hide from a kaiju attack.
Yeah, I know in the trailer you were having like dodge the stomping feet of the two Ultramen that were battling.
Is it like actual Ultramen?
Yes, like giant ass Ultraman.
Man, that's fucking. I haven't seen this trailer yet.
Yeah, I have to see it later. It's pretty cool looking. Me as a kaiju nerd, this sounds awesome. It's something that I've never really thought about. Is this the
survival aspect?
Yeah, of all the people that are like, oh, Gojira! That would suck, though. The only Godzilla that ever focused on that really was the very first one, which, if anyone hasn't seen that one yet, I highly recommend it.
Especially if you have the choice. I mean, you have the American version and the Japanese. Watch the Japanese one.
I like them both. I really like the American one, too.
The American one, pretty much the only difference is, of course, it's in English. And Raymond Burr, they filmed scenes with Raymond Burr.
I do believe so, yeah.
Then, I think, yeah, okay. Well, as long as you can.
It reminds me almost of the way Lovecraft told some of his stories, like this the retelling of this horrible catastrophe that happened. It wasn't so much about the kaiju, like Godzilla is basically a natural fucking disaster, and this is this guy's horrible retelling of it.
Yeah, Godzilla is like the culmination of mankind's sins.
Yeah.
Incarnate.
Now, the ones after that, they got kind of shitty, and then they kind of rebooted it into what we know as kaiju now, and it got pretty awesome after that. But that very first Godzilla movie was awesome.
I really think the very first Godzilla movie released here in 1998 was the best one. That's the best one. Matthew Broderick tried telling him, he's like, these some big fucking earthworms. I'm just kidding. I'm kidding, right?
I wish I could.
I just seen fucking flames in your eyes from across the
table. Wish I could hate you more. Like, there's not enough hatred in my body for you right now.
You heard it here. After 30 years, pretty much of friendship,
end it.
Brandon just hates me now because he found my one darkest secret. Dude, I hated that movie when it came out to theaters.
Yeah,
the whole time. My grandma was with us, and I just bitched the whole time. I was like, it looks like a giant fucking iguana.
I was pumped for it as a kid.
It was really cool before you actually seen what Godzilla looked like.
Yeah, I'm like, wait, I already saw Jurassic Park. What the fuck is this?
I hated the fact that he had babies.
Yeah.
That just takes away a lot, because that's one thing about Godzilla is very masculine.
Well, it's always been a female, though.
Huh?
Yeah.
I did not know that.
Yeah. Godzilla's had the kids.
But he's still the king of the monsters.
Right.
He's
of course,
he's one of the most strange dinosaurs.
Every reboot is a little bit different, but they've rebooted that series 3 times now.
What do you
4
think
times.
about that newest reboot coming out? Have you seen the pictures of the evil Godzilla?
Nuh-uh.
You haven't seen that?
Is it the Japanese? Are you talking about the American one? Or
no, the Japanese Toho reboot.
Okay.
They're doing, Toho's rebooting Godzilla again. And he looks more like an actual mutated beast. They're like trying to make him all fucking evil and mean looking and shit again. That's a picture of him.
Huh, that's cool. Yeah, my favorite era is like the 80s and 90s Godzilla. Godzilla 2000 was fucking awesome too.
That's the one where it actually blows away the U.S. Godzilla.
Now, no, that's Final Wars.
No, correct me if I'm wrong, but didn't Toho actually... That Godzilla still exists in the Godzilla universe, technically, doesn't it? Or the other one?
I guess technically, but he's just
don't they call it Zilla or some shit?
Yeah, I don't recall what it was called. Oh, I really like the mouth on
That's the new...
He's showing me the picture of the rebooted Godzilla. His mouth is like 90% of his head. It's awesome. Very venomous almost.
He looks... It makes me think kind of like Xenomorph and Aliens, like the toothy kind of thing. Just like rows of...
Your battery's dead.
Fuck. Thanks a lot, Samsung. Microsoft announced that they're taking time with the HoloLens so that they can ensure it won't be another Kinect.
Yeah, I like Microsoft. I'm not a fanboy though, and I don't see it happening. The VR, it's a fad.
People don't remember there were 3D movies in the 80s too.
Yeah, it's impractical. It's cool sometimes, but it's impractical and it's not going to go anywhere.
Bummer. That is literally all I have for news.
I had to pour some liquids down my gullet. I got a few more bits of news. There's yet another re-release of the Sinclair ZX Spectrum. This one is the Vega Plus, a handheld one. It has passed its $100,000 Indiegogo. It comes with 1,000 licensed games. It's I say $100,000 Indiegogo. It's £100,000. It costs £100 because Spectrum's mostly a European thing, but I don't know the conversion on that shit. It's probably like $150 for it. But yeah, it comes with 1,000 licensed games, and you can download additional games for free. Like all Spectrum shit's open source. For those who are unfamiliar, Spectrum games are like Atari games.
One of the original home computers.
Yes. But still, that's pretty cool.
They're obviously making that because there's an interest in that market again.
Yeah.
After all these years.
I would like to get our hands on a ZX Spectrum for Game Fest, but I don't see it happening. Especially the originals. They're kind of pricey.
I've been even doing some reading up on some of the old Casio and Texas Instrument calculators that have games on them. That'd be cool to actually land a couple of them.
I do at least want to get some Tiger games.
I have a Gamescom.
Nice.
I actually have I have like Lost World, Mortal Kombat 3 for it.
I'm sure they're all delightful.
I imagine that thing, some kid will break it within, that'd be, out of everything at Game Fest, if some kid was playing that and got really fucking mad and broke it, probably wouldn't get mad at him because I'm just like, I've been there.
Go shake his hand.
Yeah.
Well done, son.
I'd shake it real firmly and be like, you owe me about $20. No, I probably wouldn't feel that bad because it's a shameful shit of a console.
Saw that Warren Spector is joining Other Side Entertainment to work on System Shock 3 and Ultima Underworld Ascendant. So I'm pretty pumped about both of those things. Yeah, he had a hand in System Shock 2 and Ultima Underworld, 2 games I like a lot, and he's coming back for the sequels. So
nice.
That's awesome. I wish I'd wrote down more information. I'm trying to think of the last game he worked on. Epic Mickey was the last game he worked on. So that's it for news.
Vault's game of the week is
Non-existent.
missing in action.
Yeah, they were supposed to call it in. They forgot again. Of course, they were running a tournament tonight.
They had a tournament tonight. Me and Brandon dropped by early. They were pretty booked.
But I am going to plug their Amazon store page. They set up their Amazon store page, and so any of our listeners who are either or in Alabama and just don't want to drive that far, because I understand from Huntsville to Coleman even is a pretty good drive, or outside of Alabama, outside of the country, if you want to show your support to Vault for supporting us, you can visit their Amazon shop at amazon.com/shops/Vault Games. I was looking on there earlier. There's some stuff I really want to buy myself, but I cannot right now.
Mortgage.
Yes, I need to buy a mortgage more than games.
My mortgage is shitting in my face right now.
Oh yeah, they do that.
It's nice.
Yep. So, if you are close by, go down the Vault. As we said, they run tournaments, so you never know what the next tournament's going to be. We can try to keep y'all up on that. Tonight was the old Call of Duty, I do believe.
Yep. Black Rods 3. Black Ops 3. They had a pretty good turnout.
Yeah, they
were
did.
Down there. They were crowded.
I went and picked me up a handful of good PlayStation titles for less than $10. So
I'm still thinking about going back and having that Tekken 2.
Yeah, I almost did. But I've got Tekken Tag 2 on the Wii U. I've been playing that.
Nice.
Tekken Tag is my favorite. The Tekken. I honestly don't care that much about the single man Tekkens.
I just love the second ones. That's one of the first games me and my brother played all the way through and unlocked every hidden character and all that. It's pretty gnarly.
Pretty
rad, man.
Yeah, I think I got Tomb Raider 2.
Which is amazing. You can run around a mansion.
Yeah, WCW Nitro, and for the PlayStation, and one other game, I don't recall what it was. Armored Core 2? All for...
No, was it Armored Core?
I think I got Armored Core 2.
Yeah, that's right.
All that for like $8. So go down the Vault. You never know what you can get. You get a good deal on it. So, yeah, do that.
Get a stack of games for not a big stack of cash.
That's right. It's one of the best things about retro gaming.
Yeah, no shit. Oh, my dog has decided to pay his episodely visit.
You're not going to eat these natches.
You must leave, dog.
Didn't you hear Ronald Lump is ending the corn dog embargo?
I don't guess he got that message.
No, he did not.
If only people could see what we see while we record this.
Eventually they will.
Indeed. We're in the process. If you'd like to donate money to the Gold Gamers podcast,
or
let's buy a camera. Yeah. You can contact Brandon and I. We won't rip you off, and we will buy an actual camera because we really need one, and we're broke as shit.
Or if you got a capture card or camera we could use, hey, we could use it.
You could come and game with us while we use it or something.
That'll be sweet. So you got a what's in your hands tonight? Or?
It smells weird.
Does it?
It does. I do have a what's in your hands tonight. It's one of my favorite series of all time, and it was their first outing on the Game Boy and was released in 1990 by Konami. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles followed the Foot Clan for Game Boy.
I don't know if I've ever played that one.
It's actually really good. It's like I said, it's the first game on Game Boy. It's fairly simple. It's platforming, work your way left to right. You can be Leo, Mikey, Raph, or Donnie. You can be any of the four turtles. Krang and Shredder have kidnapped April O'Neil.
Of course.
Her and Princess Peach are cousins, I do believe.
Yeah. I kidnapped her too.
Yeah. I wouldn't kick her out of bed. But the start of the game, you can you pick your control scheme. You can make B attack or A jump, or A jump and B attack. Yeah, that shouldn't have been that complicated.
Select to vote for Ronald Lump.
Yeah. He helps people like me.
1 like equals 1 vote.
You can
1 share equals 1,000 votes.
You can throw a shuriken.
Shuriken.
Boy, I said that bad. You can throw a shuriken while if you crouch and attack while you're crouching, it throws one. That's
Cool.
how they map that. And of course, if you jump in midair and attack, you do a jump kick. There's only 5 stages in the game. You run across your stereotypical Ninja Turtles fare, foot soldiers, mousers, certain bosses like, or well, not bosses, but enemies like Roadkill Rodney. Do you remember him from the cartoon?
No. My turtle game is not up to snuff.
I want to say Roadkill Rodney was... I'm not 100% on this, so if I'm wrong on this, don't get mad, but I want to say he was also like known as the Rat King, I think. I could be wrong on that. But anywho, if your turtle runs out of life, you're captured and you got to pick another turtle, and you get to start from where that turtle died and left off. So that's good. If all 4 is captured, it's game over. You collect pizza to get health. There's a few mini games scattered throughout the stages. Nothing major, just kind of like selecting items and such like that.
On a scale of candystand.com to Super Ghouls and Ghosts, how difficult is it?
It's moderately difficult, but it's not terrible. It's not nowhere as difficult as the NES Ninja Turtle games.
Okay.
Nowhere near. It's pretty easy. The boss battles are a little predictable. Just, I mean, it's Game Boy. You know, they can't have big elaborate attacks and shit. But
yeah,
you the first stage is like the city streets and the sewers, and you fight Rocksteady at the end. The second one's like a plant or a factory you're at, and you fight Bebop. The third's like a convoy of trucks, and you fight Baxter Stockman.
Oh, so you fight a truck
in fly form. You go to the mountains in stage 4, and you fight Shredder there. Then stage 5, you end up on the Technodrome, and you fight Krang. You can pick. Also, one unique feature about this game is you can pick which level you want to start on. But to see the full ending of the game, you got to play from level 1 all the way through. That's pretty much it.
Well, that's good.
It's simple. It's sweet. It's like a $5 to $10 game, and honestly, like Konami put out some really good Game Boy games. So just about any Konami game you see out for Game Boy is pretty legit. It plays a lot like Tiny Toon Adventures.
Oh, nice.
Bab's Big Break. I'm pretty sure it probably uses the same engine for Konami platform and beat 'em up. I'd recommend it. You should put it in your hands. 'Cause that's what's in mine.
I'll put it in my hands as soon as I get this other thing out.
God, that looks painful.
It is. Just like my life.
I can smell it from here.
Stings the nostrils.
Pungent aroma.
Smells like a used diaper filled with Indian food.
Smells like Bigfoot's dick.
Smells like a turd covered in burnt hair.
I can never get tired of throwing Anchorman jokes around.
That's awesome. I love it.
Well, I guess we're going to talk about our random games of the week we've been playing.
This week we're doing some games of the week. Next week is a more collaborated episode. We got a special guest coming on. We're going to be talking about some Castlevanias, some Bloodstained, all that good stuff. So
our guest next week also he runs his own podcast.
Yes,
as well.
He does, the Bloodstained Community Podcast. So if y'all interested, we'll talk about Bloodstained more this next week. But Bloodstained's a new Castlevania made by was it Iga, the original Castlevania dude. So we'll talk about that next week. This week I'm going to talk about some Jim Power, The Lost Dimension in 3D on SNES.
The game. That game makes me need to talk to a fucking psychiatrist. Yeah,
I went to Vault as usual, getting some games on the cheap to talk about, and I saw Jim Power. It's like, $5, I'll do it. And I had no clue what I was getting myself into. This game is renowned for being extremely difficult.
When you text messaged me the other night, just telling me how difficult of a time you were having, I knew right then that I'm like, well, that must be a bitch of a game that I do not want to play. Because I know how good you are at video games.
And it's not just that it's like broken difficult. It's fair, but it's just a legit difficult.
One hit death.
Yes.
Period.
The game was kind of ambitious. It filled a lot of different aspects. For one, the game uses a lot of red and blue graphics, and it shipped with its own special 3D glasses. I imagine it looked pretty cool with those. I used the standard red and blue 3D glasses, and it kind of worked, but it kind of gave me brain cancer too. So, but yeah, it has 3 different types of levels in it. It's got like a Mega Man type platforming element. Then there's also an overhead mode that's kind of like the overhead country levels, or it's almost, I guess it's mode 7 technically.
Yeah.
And you're controlling gem power from overhead, and you gotta go through a maze of shit basically.
It's just like Contra 3. You even use the shoulder buttons.
Yeah, shoulder buttons.
Yep.
And there's also a horizontal shooter stage, and which is like a bullet hell spaceship thing, and it is more difficult than any other one I've ever played.
I didn't make it that far earlier.
I've made it that far once, and I was very tempted to use cheats to get back to that point and beat the game, but oh my god, I thought I was getting good at the game until I got to the horizontal shooter level, and I was going through lives like nothing. Like every few seconds, I was dying. It was ridiculous. One thing, the game features good music. It varies between good and just decent. I brought it in the first level. I thought it was alright. Apparently, it's based heavily on an RPG series in Japan called Wise. I don't know.
Ease? Like
it might be Ease.
YS?
Yeah.
Wonders of Ease and stuff like that. You would probably actually like those games.
Yeah, it looks like something I dig. I've never played them. Here's a clip of the music. Very 90s.
Today you're gonna rise. I like that. Ooh, Les Claypool on the bass there.
Yeah.
That's pretty bitchin', man.
Yeah. That's one of the better tracks on it. Some of it's just okay. A lot of it's more upbeat than it should be for how fucking difficult the game is. The graphics are very, very vibrant. Because like I said, it was aiming to take advantage of them 3D graphics. And on top of the vibrant graphics, it uses a double parallax scrolling. And for those that are unfamiliar with parallax scrolling, it was more common in the SNES era, the 16-bit era. And that's when the background moves at a different rate than the foreground when you move. This features 2 layers, so double parallax scrolling. So
it's kind of disorienting at first.
I could see that, especially if you focus on the background. I noticed it kind of did disorient me. Like, you'd have your normal foreground, basic level shit, trees, platforms, all that. And then in the background, there's huge-ass trees, and then behind that was big-ass mountains. And they all move at different rates, so it made a nifty kind of 3D effect, but I can see it being disorienting too. I'm a big fan of parallax. There's always just one of them cooler effects in these old games.
Simple but very effective.
Yeah. The meat of the game is the platforming part, and like we said, it's kind of like Mega Man. You can jump, you can shoot, and you can use a bomb maneuver, which is like a clean screen clear. So you get all these basic enemies, it'll kill them outright. Won't work on bosses or mini bosses or anything. It will just damage them. I don't know how much. There's no life bars in the game. A
lot of trial and error.
Yes, it's very up to reflexes and memorization. I got to where when I'm going through level 1, I'm shooting at shit that's not even there yet.
You were schooling level 1's ass earlier.
What makes the game extremely difficult is every enemy takes a lot of shots to kill, and Jim Power is a pussy. He gets touched one time and he's dead. So you start the game with like 3 or 4 lives on normal. There's easy, normal, and difficult levels. So
what were we playing on earlier?
normal. The only thing that changes though is the amount of lives and continues you have. So the game remains just as difficult. It's just you have more errors, room for error, I guess. But yeah, every enemy, bullet, whatever, kills you one hit, and the platforming gets fucking ridiculous.
A lot of time jumps.
Yes,
And you're jumping. You do not jump high at all.
No, you jump like a dude. You jump like the white man that Jim Power is.
White man can't jump.
No, even though he has a jetpack, he does not use it.
These video game characters always have something that would be very useful to aid you during the level, but they only deem to use it at the end when they escape.
Yeah. I know one of the more difficult aspects of level 1, there's a pit of spikes, which obviously is bad to fall in, and you got these 3 of these moving platforms. So they're not only moving left to right, but they're moving up and down, so they're kind of moving in a wave pattern. And there's 3 of them in a row, and you got to jump from one to the other 3 times. And on top of that, there's 2 power-up capsules that you can shoot to blow up and collect power-ups off of. It's fucking difficult to time that shit out. The sprites are really big because I guess they really wanted the more detailed and vibrant sprites, but that also makes it more difficult in that there's not much room on the screen between your character and the edge of the screen. So and the enemies are like twice as fast as you can move. So when they come out at the side of the screen, there's very little room for error. You either gotta, get insane reflexes, or you have to have the level memorized to know.
Or a little bit of luck.
Yeah, a little bit of luck. One good thing about it though is, unlike a lot of these old games, where if an enemy moves off screen, the game forgets about them and it respawns them. The game knows where they are. So even if they're all off screen, you can still shoot them and kill them. I've encountered that a lot in my memorization of it. I'll get to a spot and I'll just start spamming bullets and I never even see the enemy that's supposed to be there.
That's good.
And it's also good in that if you kill an enemy and you have to backtrack, he's still dead when you come back to it. So
no random surprise of walking through and seeing nobody and coming back and they just jump out and ledges of the hidden temple your ass.
Yeah. Say the first level only has a mini boss, and it's this Titan looking dude who just has this Stretch Armstrong neck, and he lunges his head at you, and you shoot him in the head a shit ton of times until he dies. But after level 1, you get to a boss stage, and the boss is Flying Shellfish.
That cracked me the fuck up for some weird reason.
It looks like something out of some anime or something. It does not look like a shellfish at all. It looks like a shell made from like Japanese antiques or something.
It looks like a cat statue.
Yes,
that you
and
see,
something else.
It's like melded together that opened to have a fucking eyeball attached by veins in the middle of it.
Yeah, and it would shoot laser balls.
Photon balls.
Yes.
That's you.
Oh, and I forgot to mention another thing that makes this game so difficult is you start off with, say, 4 lives. If you lose them all in level 1, that's it. You start level 1 back over. You go to a continue screen. If you hit continue, you start at the beginning, whatever last level you were at. So if you have to use a continue on level 1, you're best off resetting the game because you're burning a continue that's doing you no good. What I've also encountered in some of the areas is, especially in the overhead contra stage, is if you die in certain places, you'll keep respawning in that certain place, and you basically have to sit there and die until you get a game over to have a chance of beating the level. Especially in the, like I said, the overhead contra stages, it's like a maze you have to go through, and thankfully you can press select and see a map of the area and scroll around, see what keys and shit lie here or there. But if you waste your keys to open gates, you'll find yourself fucked. Because you have to open these gates to these various rooms in order, and if you waste your keys,
you're talking about the overhead level.
Yeah,
right?
Overhead level.
They're like electric gates.
Yes, there's electric gates, and I guess the best way to explain it is you'll see some rooms that have 4 gates in front of it, some rooms with 2 gates. Well, let's say if you have 2 keys and you try to go into the room with 4 gates, you burn 2 of your keys, and now you don't have any keys to enter the other rooms to get more keys. So you have to look and see how many keys you got, what rooms you can enter, and if you can get enough keys to progress in that room. So if you fuck up, you got to kill yourself until you start the level over, because there's nothing you can do.
You have to be very precise in every fucking thing you do.
Right. The horizontal shooter is very fast. Just an insane amount of obstacles. It's not really so much the bullet hell part. It's the obstacles you have to go through while dodging the few bullets on the screen. And on top of that horse shit is the same old 1 hit, 1 kill for you. Everything else takes a million hits. And your bullets do not go directly out in front of you. You spray in a cone, which directly in front of you hits about anything in front of you. But on the other side of the screen, you got to be either above or below your target, because your missiles arc off in a cone. You shoot 2 missiles. So there's no just direct lining up and aiming. The game is extremely frustrating, but it's also very good in all the shit it tries to do. For $5, I'd say it's
for
good.
For $5, it's even. I'm not a big fan of it from what I played of it, because it is difficult. But for $5, it would be worth it.
Yeah,
because it's not, like you said, it's not broken. It's not really a hack job of a game. It's just super fucking challenging.
Yes, it is.
Imagine
they forgot that kids play the games.
Imagine Mega Man X times like 15.
Yeah. I'm very tempted to put in the hours into this game to, all the memorization and reflexes and stuff you got to learn for it to try and speed run it. So I imagine that's a title that'd be pretty sweet to hold. Being able to speedrun that difficult of a fucking game. So
yeah.
I don't know if I will, because I got so much on my fucking plate right now between this and everything else in life. But I might eventually try to go for that.
That would be something. That would be an impressive feat.
And then one thing that the game does have cheats. It's one of the weird games where you can plug in a second controller and enter cheat code from the Player 2 port. I haven't used them yet myself, but I did see there's a level skip cheat, and I think that would be if you're just trying to
hone your skills and practice memorization. That'd be great.
Yes, and also if you just want to play through the game, it's one thing I considered doing is going back to the last level I lost at, and just level skipping ahead to there instead of having to play from level 1 and up. But just didn't have the time or the will to do that before today. So. But yeah, I know there's some other cheats too. I think you can get like infinite bombs and shit like that just takes away from the game. But the level skip I like. Just because this is a game where you need to practice your levels and memorize fucking everything.
And memorization is key in this game, from what I seen earlier. We might actually, after the podcast, we might jam on that for a little bit more if you want to. I'd like to get a little better at it. You need to, I guess, too, check out what I'm going to talk about. And see, I don't have just a shit ton to talk about because I've had such a hectic week. I haven't really got to play any games.
Yeah, and like we planned on having a guest. He was bringing in some games to talk about, but that fell through. No fault of his own.
Yeah. One of mine, or the one I got 2. One of them I'm not going to touch on a whole lot because I want to save it. I think we could do a full episode on one of them. Not just that game, but the series. But I went to Vault and I bought Alien 3 for SNES, which I thought I'd briefly touch on. But the main one I'm going to talk about is it's a play in one of mine and your favorite games from Southern Fried last year, Tempest.
Oh, yeah.
I picked up a PlayStation 1 game called Tempest X3, which at its core is pretty much just a reboot or redo or clone of Tempest 2000 that came out on Atari Jaguar. But it's got a couple more modes that carry over, the Jaguar didn't have.
Right.
Like from the Tempest 2000, you had traditional Tempest, which it emulates the original vector graphics, real bright, solid bars of light, pretty much.
My favorite.
One of the, I mean, it of course, being on a console, it's not going to look as beautiful as it would on the actual arcade cabinet, but it's pretty close. It also had and this is still, I'm still talking about Tempest 2000. It also had just a mode called Tempest Plus, which, if you got in a real tight spot, it throws in a computer-controlled droid and helps you out. The two new additions, though, to X3, pretty much was there's a I think it's called X3 mode. I can't remember, but it's pretty much like badass new Tempest. It's kind of vector looking, but it's 3D. And for those of you who don't know exactly what Tempest is, you control a little C-shaped yellow ship, and you're confined to a grid that usually is round or some sort of like circular.
Yeah, some sort of enclosed geometrical shape.
Yeah, and
you can circle around or travel around the perimeter of it.
You circle, like for example, if it's a tube, the tube's broken up into certain sections, and you circle around it and you shoot downward into the tube, and the enemies come up from the bottom toward you at the top.
In different patterns.
Yeah, in different patterns. Some of them lay like spider web or something, that like a line that you have to gradually shoot down. Some of them come all the way up and run on the outer edge where your ship is, and if they touch you, it captures your shit and you're done.
Yeah, so I think some go straight up, some kind of circle up, spiral up as if they're climbing the threads of a screw. I think that was about it from what I remember of the original one.
Tempest X3 is not much different. It's got all the modes that Tempest 2000 had on it, and it has the new mode, which pretty much just adds, you can get power-ups, like, you can get, like, rapid fire. You can get, like, a little bomb thing that clears the enemies coming up, like a screen wiper.
Yeah.
One thing that it does have going for it, it has a really, really pumping 1990s techno soundtrack.
Nice.
I have a song for it, but I don't know how we would play it right now.
We'd have to get it on the soundboard somehow for it to sound decent.
Well, that won't happen right now, but it's, I don't know. If you like techno.
If you keep talking about it, I can find it. Is it on the YouTubes or something?
It is on YouTube. I think it's just under like Tempest X3 level 1 or PS1 gameplay. It plays it. It's I don't know, like, I don't know really whether to say Tempest X3 is like an improvement on 2000, because there's only so much you can do with a Tempest game. It's very psychedelic though. And the enemies in Tempest X3 get pretty ridiculous. Like, instead of having just the ones that crawl up one wall, like it's like a spider with egg sacs or some shit on it. It'll be coming up the tube and you shoot it and it'll split out into like 3 or 4 enemies and be on opposite sides of the tube. So then you got to spin around crazy. It came out on PlayStation 1 before the analog controller did. And I don't know if it's a glitch or if it's supposed to, but you control it with the control pad. And if you switch analog on, for some reason it gives you auto fire. Like it just constantly fires. And all you do is move the ship around the shape.
See, I found it, but I don't know if, do you know if this and Tempest 2000 share the same soundtrack?
Not right offhand, but I will check.
Well, I'll tell you what, I'll just play this. If it happens to be some YouTube douchebag talking, sorry guys. I got my volume on it.
That's it.
Are you ready?
Yeah. This is a video of a guy playing it, so...
This shit plays the entire time you're playing Tempest.
Oh, it looks pretty cool.
It's pretty neat.
Yeah, it's not quite the awesome vector graphics, but it's still pretty cool.
For what it is an update to like one of the more simplistic, arcade games. It holds up pretty well.
I'd say so.
It's like a $7 game too. I think I paid $6.99 for it. It's not bad at all.
Yeah, I might have got ripped off. I would have paid maybe $6.50 for it, $6.65, something like that.
I'm glad to know. The one cool thing about the PlayStation version, I was reading on the back of it, on the back of the CD case, however, it supports the PlayStation mouse.
Huh.
And it also supports the Nico trackball that come out for PlayStation, which I for some reason I imagine Tempest would be really fucking difficult on a trackball.
Yeah. I can see that.
It says, I've looked up too if there's anything else compatible, and Namco come out with a rotary NG-Con analog controller. So I don't know if that's like a dial control. If it is, I'm going to try to find one. I'm going to try to find that. A few of the main differences between 2000 and X3 as far as gameplay goes, the AI droid only follows the player instead of acting on its own will. 2000 it'll go in its own direction, do all that, and it follows you in this one.
Does this mirror your actions or something?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. It's pretty much like a frame behind you the entire time, but it follows and mirrors. The particle laser, one of the upgrades you get, the particle laser is no more effective than the normal laser against Spox, but in the X3 version, in Tempest 2000, it pretty much eradicates the spot completely. And this one, you still have to work it down. I guess that's what I was talking about when I was referring to the spider web things that come up because it'll tell you avoid all Spox on the way down, and you'll have to dodge them. Some of the harder levels have been removed completely for the game. They thought it would be hard to control with a PlayStation controller, and which boggles the fuck out of me, because I'm like, what makes you think it would have been easy to control on a fucking Atari Jaguar controller?
Yeah.
Like one of the most awkward-ass controllers ever fucking made.
Yep.
One of the nails in the Jaguar's coffin was that shitty fucking controller. It combined every failed fucking Atari controller into one, pretty much. That's about it. You can, if you enter a name YIFF, like YIFF, exclamation point, it'll open a secret mode, and you can actually play the original Tempest 2000 that way.
Cool.
Because, I mean, pretty much X3, it's a direct clone just with a couple more modes. It's worth checking out, though, especially for being a cheap game, and if you're a fan of the older arcade games, I definitely recommend it. It's one of the only home versions you're going to find a Tempest, too, so...
One day I'm going to get a MAME cabinet with a rotary dial on it.
Man, I want one for mine, but I got to look... Just the rotary dial itself's like $90.
That's pretty steep for one game, basically.
Well, I got to looking. There's about 20 different rotary games you could play with it. I seen where some people were had theirs rigged up playing Donkey Kong with a rotary switch.
Oh.
Using it for left and right. And it kind of looked cool. Like, I don't know how you would really do it, but try to imagine playing Super Mario on NES with a rotary dial. Like, as far as running in one direction, it'd be a pain in the dick, but for some of those crazy jumps where you got to flip Mario over the pipes and shit, it could be possible. I don't know how that would work, though.
Yeah, I'm
it
not
wouldn't.
Sure.
I don't.
Not
think
very
it would.
well.
I'm just gonna skip talking about Alien 3 because I want to do a whole Alien Games episode. I have just about every one they've ever released, and I just don't feel much need to elaborate on it.
All right.
You got You got something?
I think it's time to get a little hot and steamy.
Damn, girl, come on over here and put on that lace and that leather frock. Time to get a little sexy up in here.
Come sit on Ronald's lump.
Who wants a beard ride?
Again, I guess this is the theme of the episode. Short and quick. This one is One Finger Death Punch. You ever play that one?
No, but I know that terrible band.
That's Five Finger Death Punch.
Whatever it is, they suck.
Yeah. This is
One Finger Death Punch.
One Finger Death Punch.
I believe I've heard of it, but I don't believe I've ever played it.
This is it's a Steam game, obviously. But it's also on Android, iOS, and Xbox 360. The premise of it is simple. Do you remember the old Zao stick fighting animations on Newgrounds?
Yes, I do.
It's that with very, very simplistic controls.
Is it uber violent, like uber bloody?
It's not very gory, but it is uber violent.
I want to say that I know what you're talking about. But
you control a stick figure, and you basically have on a 360 controller, you have the A and B button, and that's your only buttons you use in the whole fucking game. You basically attack left or right. That enemy, you'll be in the middle of the screen with your stick figure, and other stick figures come at you from left and right, and you gotta attack them. You have like a little range. It kind of highlights on the ground of where your attacks will land. So if they're outside of your range and you attack, you miss, and it leaves you open to get hit. The game slowly advances to where enemies will come at you with weapons and stuff, and you can use these weapons to enhance your range, or sometimes there'll be one-hit kills. Most of the enemies are one-hit kills, like punch or anything. But then there's green enemies, which take 2 hits. There's blue enemies, where it's always dodge your first attack, so you have to attack to them and then attack behind you immediately because they dodge you. There's not a whole lot more to say. The game, I did like how the game has a lot of kind of realistic looking kung fu art, like in the menus and stuff. And the whole game has a narrator, or not a narrator, announcer who he has the classic like kung fu dojo master voice. I got a couple clips of that.
Fight using only the left and right mouse buttons. When you fight, your cursor can be anywhere. Boss round. Each boss switches between green and blue. The enemy's hits are indicated below them. Gold medal awarded.
What?
Like I said, it's simple, it's good, but on Steam it's normally $5. I wouldn't pay $5 for it. It's practically a mobile game. It's one of the things that turned me off to at first. I really wanted to shit on it, but it's actually a solid game. But I wouldn't pay more than $1 for it. I don't remember how much I paid for it. I know I never paid full price for this shit. That's why I have so many games, because I buy them in big ass bundles and shit, or buy them dirt cheap. But I would say if you can get it for like $1, this game is it's very hot and steamy.
It makes old Brandon's butthole quiver.
It does.
Dead silence.
Yeah, I was trying to come up with something. I forgot to add something to my soundboard earlier.
We're experiencing technical difficulties.
Here it is. I give it this. Nice.
Yes. The boing noise has always been a favorite of mine.
It's hot and steamy.
We asked you a question last week, as we've been doing here recently.
Yep. The question is, what game did you love as a child but have come to realize sucks as an adult?
I noticed you posted our favorite examples on that picture.
Yes.
Ultraman. I tried playing Ultraman not too long ago. What a piece of shit.
Unfortunately, yes.
That was one of the very first SNES games I ever played, too. And I'm just like, man.
Probably my copy. because I loved it.
I'm pretty sure, yeah. I'm pretty sure that's right. Man, what a piece of shit.
I loved it, though.
I know she put Jaws in there, and I still like Jaws, even though I can still invent new fucking curse words playing that game.
And for those who haven't seen it, I put a picture of Fester's Quest, Ultraman, and Jaws.
I almost bought Fester's Quest the other day. They got it at Vault for $5. And I almost zapped it up just because
I've almost bought it a few times. But yeah, on Google Plus, our follower German the First Hunter, he said the Silent Hills Origins for some reasons. I guess he not care for that one as an adult. Let me pull up all our Facebook replies. We got a few of those.
I got a couple answers myself. I'm trying to pull up here in my computer.
So yeah, I posted it in the Play, Sell, and Collect Facebook group. So thanks for those guys for answering. Chad Hughes says Skyrim. Maybe because I played it over and over. I didn't know you were a child when Skyrim came out. Makes me feel really old. Maybe he just misunderstood the question. David Drake, NBA Live 95. Me and my friend Kevin played it. He couldn't believe how bad it was. I think a lot of sports games probably fall in that category. You loved it as a kid because you love sports, and then you get older and like, oh, most sports games suck.
Dude, I ain't gonna lie. NHL 95, I think, for Sega Genesis.
The NHL...
Fucking awesome, dude.
I think it might be 94 or 95 is like regarded as the best hockey game ever made on Genesis.
Actually, I have a Super Famicom soccer game. I can't think of the name of it. It's like Sight Stage 94, I think. I just played it for the first time the other day. Don't know shit about soccer, but it's a fun fucking game.
Hell yeah.
Real, like NBA Jam style.
Let's see. On our page on Facebook, we got a handful of answers. Jeffrey Hargrove says James Bond on Sega Genesis. It was the best to me, and now I can't play it. Our good buddy Chasen Chandler says X-Men. Which one was it? Mutant Wars. I haven't played that.
Me neither.
He said, let's see, I ain't gonna read all of this, but, says horrible music, boring enemies, annoyingly difficult enemies. And he says, I like how he got rid of it. He said he rented a copy of X-Men Mutant Academy for Game Boy Color at Blockbuster and switched it out for his game. So they got his Mutant Wars. That's kind of clever.
Chivalrous.
No wonder they're bankrupt.
Shit. They probably just had like 100 copies that happened to.
Yeah.
They're just like,
well, you know, no one back there cared either. You're like, I'm getting minimum wage. I don't give a fuck that says Wars or Academy. It's an X-Men game.
They're just like, we're going to be out of fucking business in a few years. Nobody plays X-Men games.
I wonder why we can't get new customers, because we require blood samples, blood type, semen sample, and
background check, fingerprint.
Mike McDaniel says Castlevania 2, Simon's Quest.
Oh,
I can see that. I haven't had my hands on it yet, but I've seen it. So
yeah, I was gonna say, you know why that game's shitty, right? What is it? Oh man, what the fuck is it that it says every time it turns night on that game? Or it's something like, the night has vanquished the day, and it takes like a whole fucking 30 seconds to tell you that every like 5 minutes.
He says, I didn't have the first Castlevania, but I own this game. The music's still great, but when people point out the obvious flaws, it's hard to argue that this game is any good. I'd play it for days as a kid, but in hindsight, it's just begging to be made fun of. If I didn't have a Nintendo Power, I never would have figured anything out on that game.
You wouldn't have.
Still to this game, I'll listen to that soundtrack, though.
There's some shit you gotta do to, like, equivalent to, like, blowing a fucking Mario flute and a tornado comes and picks you up and carries you away. There's all kinds of cryptic Nintendo shit in that game.
Huh.
Dude, I actually want to get it. It's like $40, but some guy has done a fan hack, in reproduction you can buy that fixes all the problems in Castlevania 2 and makes it actually a fucking legible and playable game.
And the last one, Heather Scrantz, I'm sorry if I mispronounced her name. She just posted a picture of Super Bonk on SNES.
It's difficult. I've only played a very, very minuscule amount of it. All the Bonk games are fun, but they get a little...
I know the one I played on TurboGrafx, I didn't care for it.
There's
It's confusing.
There's a little dickery at hand on them games.
there was some dickery at hand. We need to answer our own, I guess. I mean,
we can talk about this for minutes. I got quite a slew of games
Yes.
I really like that. You answered one of the big ones last week, talking about Shenmue.
Yeah.
To you.
That's what inspired this question.
I've started playing Shenmue 2, by the way, and it is, from what I've gathered so far, a big improvement. It's a good deal.
I'm going to say one that I never thought I'd say it, but Godzilla on NES. It's not that great of a game. I mean, I still love it because it's the game I grew up loving, but it's kind of shitty. I finally came to terms with that.
I can't believe you just admitted that, but I can, but I can't. Nightmare on Elm Street was a big one for me. Everybody knows I'm a pretty big Nightmare fan.
Yeah.
And, dude, that game. Oh my god, dude. You only can punch so many fucking snakes and bats in the face until you're just like, fuck this shit.
Yeah.
This wouldn't happen. I mean, Freddy Krueger wouldn't happen in real life, but let's just get a little more far-fetched and fight fucking snakes and bat walking from the school to the fucking first house at the end of the street. Skulls and Crossbones on NES is that way to me, too. I loved that game as a kid, and I implore anybody I know to try to beat Skulls and Crossbones. Try to beat one fucking level.
I've never played it.
You got NES?
Yeah.
You're taking it home tonight and trying it.
Fuck.
You're doing it. It's a fucking Tengen game, and it is goddamn ruthless. It's based on an arcade game, and it's a really bad arcade port. A wizard takes your girlfriend, and of course you're a fucking pirate, and you have to kill a wizard. It's one of the only NES games that have blood in it, though.
Huh.
You stab somebody and blood comes out of them, or if you step on a rat, a little spurt of blood comes out of the rat.
Yeah, the NES Godzilla game, one thing I remember hating, I mean I still hate, is you take Godzilla across the map, basically, because he's the best. You can play as Godzilla or Mothra, and Mothra just sucks in this game. So not only do you have to go across the entire map with Godzilla, you gotta bring Mothra's bitch ass across the whole map too. So that was just always like the miserable part. I finally beat the quote unquote beat the level or the planet, and now I have to bring Mothra's bitch ass through all them levels again. And the boss battles were always kaiju fights, and some of them were fucking ridiculously annoying. It wasn't extremely difficult, but annoying massively. There's one monster, it's the squid monster. Is that Hedora? I'm not sure. No, it's not
dude, I'm so out of knowledge on kaiju.
Anyway, there's a squid who just basically keeps bumping your ass into the corner of the
Tentacle
screen.
raping. Oh, you talking about the one-eyed?
Yeah.
I know the one you're talking about.
He
just from that game.
He doesn't damage you hardly any, but he'll sit there and just bump you into the corner, and it could go on
prevent you from getting to the other side of the.
Well, it prevents you from attacking him, and you got to kill him. So he'll sit there, bump you into the corner, and since it's randomized, he could do it for 10 minutes. You don't know. You just got to sit there and hope he stops so you can attack him. And it doesn't kill you, it doesn't hurt you, and it just takes up your time. You're like, what's the fucking point? I'll come back in 20 minutes when you're done humping this one out. And
you will learn to live again.
So, what's our next question? I didn't try to think about one. Well, since the next episode, we're going to be talking about some Bloodstain. What what video game or series would you like to see redone well as a modern game?
Yeah, what should we narrow it down to, like a game that hasn't had like a modern update to it?
Well, I guess that's kind of
mean,
implied in the question.
Yeah.
Yeah, what
kind of like Mega Man, Mighty Number 9.
Yes.
You know, that kind of
Castlevania
deal.
Bloodstained is kind of becoming a popular thing now. So, what old video game or video game series would you like to see rebooted, not necessarily as an official title?
An homage to the original games.
Yes. I'll come up with a better wording for that for our pictures, but yeah, that's their question for next
They'll
week.
serve well for now.
Yeah. So,
check us out as always. Well, do we have any calls? No.
Well, you had one for Steve. Steve's not here, so we'll save that one.
Okay, yeah, that's right. Call us. We have a phone number. 682-777-GOOD. You better call us. Bad things could happen if you don't.
Yep, bad things like...
For those of you who haven't called the show, a warning. If you do not call, you will awaken Satan, and infants shall fall from the sky. Bears will feast on the slow and the witless. Vaginas will turn to stone.
It never gets old.
No.
Serpents rise from the ground. Fly into your sphincter and bite.
Not a comfortable place for a
Demons
snake.
will travel back in time and rape your father. Hell, Satan! You've been warned.
Indeed, you have been warned. Call us 682-777-GOOD. You know you should. It gives us wood. We like talking to you people. We like hearing what you like to talk about us or the shit you like to say about us. We like all that.
Yeah, call us, cuss us out. Tell me to go fuck myself. I don't care.
Be great or hate. It doesn't matter. Call us. Let us know how you really feel.
Yep.
If you don't want to call us, though, you can follow us at goodoldgamers.com. That's our webpage. You can find us on iTunes. We need reviews bad. Any review you want to sling us
Yep.
would be great.
Stitcher, TuneIn, all that good shit.
YouTube.
Yep.
What else? Google Plus.
Yeah.
On Google Plus. Follow us on there.
Yeah. Good Old Gamers Podcast on Google Plus, at Good Old Gamers on Twitter, Good Old Gamers Podcast on Facebook. You want to email us at podcast@goodoldgamers.com.
If you want to see us live, come March 19th, the Huntsville Comic Book and Pop Culture Expo.
Yep.
10:15, 10:45. We will be hosting a retro video game discussion panel. Come talk to us, ridicule us, do whatever you want. Just don't bring tomatoes and shit and throw.
Yeah.
You will be escorted from the fucking premises. Bring us Fireball whiskey. We'll be sure to entertain you more if you bring us Fireball whiskey.
Yeah. We're always more entertaining with Fireball.
We like chick whiskey. So hook us up.
America's favorite pseudo whiskey.
Yeah. But, anything else you want to say?
No, that's it. Go check out Vault Games on Amazon. That's amazon.com/shop/Vault Games. And, yeah, thanks for listening.
Until next week when we come at you again. Game over, man.
Game over.
Gold medal awarded.